I just spent. Oh, there we go. So, let's see. It's doing this thing where it takes us on.
It's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. It's my perspective. Yeah, yo, am I wrong or is it just you? Or did my life show me some things that gave me my view? And if I went through what you went through, would I be you? I don't know. That's too many questions with no answer, but plenty chances for many lessons. Am I willing to learn that it's all perception? That the picture that I paint ain't the one that you sketching? So can we disagree without drawing a weapon? Long as I can understand that it's just your perspective. Yeah, it's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective.
Well, it's Friday. It's Friday. TGIF. It's Friday, and I can't sing, so that's all you're gonna get out of me. Welcome to another episode of My Perspective Friday. I'm here with the wonderful Lynn, the wonderful Elizabeth, and the half somewhat wonderful Holden.
That what we're doing today?
That's what we're doing today. I gotta pick a target. Larry's not here, so I gotta pick a target, and it's Holden. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Today's topic is the uncomfortableness of small talk, and so we know there's so many different reasons why small talk comes up. Whether you have to have an awkward conversation with a friend or a loved one, or talking to a stranger, or in a meeting, or all of these different avenues, and it can be very uncomfortable. Some people are socially awkward, or I just call it that. Some people have social anxiety, and some people who don't have those issues still find it hard to bring up conversations. Lynn, what do you think about this topic?
Oh my goodness, you would start with me.
You
The,
darn
one-
right.
the one that sits here all the time waiting on, is that what we're doing now?
That, that's what
I
we're doing now.
right. I don't have that as an issue.
Well, I
I
know
mean,
you don't have it as an issue.
I don't have that as an issue. I think that a lot of times it may occur either because it may occur when people don't think they don't value themselves to a point of feeling like what they have to offer or what they want to talk about is important enough. I think sometimes the fear of conversing simply comes from whether you feel like
Mhm.
I know anything about that topic, or how about I might just not feel like talking, or I might not feel like talking to you. I don't know what that's about, but I don't like silence, so I'm gonna find something to get people to talk about.
Well, what's a specific situation, Elizabeth, where you find yourself having either received small talk via text? So, one of the small talks is, of course, that person that wants to talk to you. So, every day of the week, they just say, "Good morning. How are you? Are you doing okay?" And it's like that routine couple of five back and forth questions, and then that's the end of the conversation.
So I find that I know exactly what you're talking about, those text messages. And sometimes I feel like, you can try to communicate to somebody that, a lot of times that's one of those people that they're talking to themselves in your inbox. And
Uh-huh.
it's like every morning you get those couple of messages and you've tried to tell them nicely that you're really not feeling that. And so the discomfort's not on my end because I'm just going to disregard that message. But for me, I feel like the the discomfort comes when you've had a difficult conversation with somebody and maybe you've said some things that they might not have liked, and now you're trying to have regular conversation, and then it gets really hard to come to a mutual point where you can communicate and not feel that discomfort, especially if the other person's maybe not at a maturity level where they can deal with that hard conversation that you had and then transition back into a functional relationship.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's not, well, before, this is not a disagreement. Totally disagree with that. Agree with that. Not totally disagree with that. Sometimes it's I don't. It's not always maturity too. Sometimes, no matter how mature you are, it just really depends on the topic and the scenario and the situation
Right.
that what happens. I mean, I'm a person that likes to get to the meat of the matter, but I find myself sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to, and what did in certain instances where you want to get to the elephant in the room, but you just don't know how to get to it. You've played the conversation in your head 1,000 times, and then when you get to talk about it, it doesn't come out the way that you planned it in your head,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
But you're also never in control of how the other person perceives you, also. So you may present it the way that you intended to present it, but you have no control over how it's perceived. But see, maybe my problem is I don't have a problem calling out the elephant in the room. So
well,
maybe that's why it turns uncomfortable after.
you should never worry about the whole point of bringing something up is to bring it up, not be afraid of the other person's response.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
Right.
you brought it up, and
Mhm.
that was your intent, right? To bring it up. But sometimes, hold on. What about, is it a lost art of the icebreaker? Because of course we communicate so much more virtually, that you got good at icebreakers. It can be hard if you're a person that has to talk in person to a group of people that you never met, and no one knows how to get the conversation started.
I think some people. I would feel like these are the most common ways for people to feel easy in these scenarios when they should in the scenarios where they should feel in control, it should feel the easiest for you. That's number one. Number two is with family and every time, or close friends and people. You should feel easy to always have small talk, whatever it is, whether it was a hard conversation or not. You should be able to get around that because you've had experience in those moments with those people. The third one should be with, I guess, a similarity. People who've been in your life for a consistent period of time,
Uh,
whether it's coach, whether it's teacher, whether it's someone who's structured your life, and you definitely had these serious conversations. You should feel more at ease to have these quick little banters, whether it's quick something on the phone or a quick little text exchange, because um, easy one for me to just relate to. Me and you, John, I was first a teacher. We were first teacher and student
who the
relationship.
hell is who the hell is John?
Keone, sorry. So,
Yeah, hey, listen here, you babbling buffoon. Uh,
So that's not my name.
See, there you go. That's an icebreaker right there. You just say something outrageous, and it gets people to laugh, even though Holden may have not been the one to laugh, and we were all in person. And then we get so it's easy for me because I'm a smart aleck and I like to tell jokes. So icebreakers are easy for me. The kind of small talk. What about the annoying small talk? Because I know one thing is, and I don't care if she's watching. Mom, oh my God, this is what drives me crazy. Hello. I go, hi. What are you doing? I'm working. What time do you get off? 5 o'clock. What are you doing when you get off? I'm going to the gym. What do you do? What do you want? Can we just get
Right.
to what
Right.
you want?
Right.
Why do we have to ask 20 questions to get to the question? And I really hate this one when anyone texts me, can I ask you a question? I always reply, you just did.
That was it. Right. Right. Right.
Just
Right.
ask your question.
Right.
Do you have anyone who just annoys you with that kind of like, because I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Well, it's like they're leading into it. Like they want to, do I have your attention? And how can I maybe give you something, a little bit less? I'm going to ask you something that maybe you're not going to want to hear. So let me just ask how the weather is. And that's one that kills me is, what's the weather like? Oh, are you on the other side of the country?
Is that really something we want to talk about?
Right.
You know?
Is that why you called?
Right. Is that why you called?
Right. Now, I mean, now I understand. Okay, I have. I mean, and some of those questions could be important. I mean, when I realize on the weather that my brother's in the middle of a major winter storm for me to call up and say, "So, what's the weather? How are you doing? Are you safe?" He's like, "Yeah, we're good." He understands why I asked something simple
Mhm.
like that.
My
But
dad used to tell me that's a sign that someone's getting old if they constantly ask you how's the weather where you are.
look, my father used to watch the Weather Channel so
Oh,
he could see the weather where his children were. And
mm.
then I was like, okay, well, that's fine, long as you don't have to call me up and give me a report.
Well, hey, here's that one. Listen, so I know some of us on here aren't in this game anymore. They've been past that. But way back in the beginning when you were single, and sometimes when you wanted to get down and dirty, like the small talk to mention it, like it wasn't something that was discussed, and now you're both in a room, so it's like, hey,
Or trying to start a conversation. Like, I mean, I've got,
well,
the hair is, naturally going a little bit silver. So I'm at the gym and I'm
uh-huh.
on the equipment, and this older man, I mean, old, probably about 25 years older than me,
Oh,
comes over, and the best thing he could come out with was, did they have to bleach your hair to do that?
yeah, so that's exactly what, like, he didn't know how to say hey, or sometimes just say hi. He's trying to
Right.
figure out how do I lead it, and so he just starts talk. He obviously sees your hair, so that's his point of conversation. At least he had a point of conversation.
Yeah, but it's kind of uncomfortable because now I'm like, I'd like to be courteous to you, but I don't know how to respond to you that I'm actually much younger than you. So while that's very sweet, and then he felt so uncomfortable that he led into, oh, so I'm a pencil artist and I'm sick of doing, brunettes. And so I just thought that looked really nice because now he's realizing, oh, this girl's much younger than me. This just got really uncomfortable really fast.
And you didn't help that situation either.
I tried to be courteous. I was just very put off. I had headphones on, and that's the other thing. When you've got headphones on and somebody comes over and starts to try to talk to you, I'll keep them in when they're
Oh,
dead.
wait, Elizabeth, you just told me something. That could, like, someone may have been looking at someone for weeks or whatever, and they've been building up the courage to go talk to them in the gym or whatever. And when they finally build up the nerve and they walk over and they get out of their mouth what they plan to say, and then the person turns down and goes, "What?" Not headphones are noticeable, but it's the one where you don't
It's
notice
the
they're listening
buds,
to
right?
something. You're like, what? And then it's like, oh, hi. And the whole thing you just said went away.
I mean, I had earbuds in the other day. I was finishing a run, but I had to stop and have a conversation with a client. And I'm out standing outside in a parking lot all by myself, and some guy walks up. I have no idea what he wanted. I don't know whether he was trying to start rapping or not. And I'm steady going, pointing to the earphones. Okay, like I'm on a call. Okay, you see me. And then he turns around and says, "Well, is it long distance?" I'm like,
What?
Yeah, I'm paying a toll for this call. This is a toll call.
bruh, I'm
Long
on the
distance?
phone. I don't care where I'm talking, who I'm talking to. I'm not getting ready to stop and have a conversation with
What?
you.
Who asked that question? How was he 90?
That's
Who
what I'm saying.
asked?
Is it 1985?
Who asked? Is it long distance anymore? What?
Is it long
That
distance? I mean, I'm like, what difference does it make? It's a call. I'm on with a. I mean, I didn't even stop. I just.
that's like asking, are you using daytime minutes? Like, what are you talking about
What
right
are
now?
you talking about? No, he was just. Bottom line was, I'm like, bro, I can't give you any change right now.
So
Okay.
everyone sitting on here is saying they've never had to do small talk on their end at any point in their life.
Oh
No.
no, I used to work in convenience stores. So I used to have to small talk all the time. And then some people just feel like they always have to have a comment. So we used to have to load the ATM machines ourselves. And if you knew how many times I heard, "Hey, if you have any extra." Oh, that's
Ah,
original,
oh,
buddy.
that's the favorite one. The joke that someone says is it's just the first. It's like someone his last name is Kirk. I had a friend name. His last name is Kirk, and they're like, "What's your name?" He's like, "What's your last name, Kirk?" huh, beat me up, Scotty, or hey, it's like they've heard the jokes before. Stop it. Stop it. Like a tall person, you play basketball?
How's the weather up there?
Small talking at a convenience store, grocery store is another annoyance. So I remember one time, the girl at the customer service, I would go and get money orders, and she called me sometimey one day, and I said, "Why'd you call me that?" She said, "Sometimes you have a conversation with me, sometimes you just say hey and move it along." I said, "Well, what I do is when there's no one behind me, I talk to you, but when there's four people behind me, I do what I got to do." And leave because that person in the grocery store line or the customer service line that's having casual conversation forever is annoying.
Mm.
You can see the looks of the face of the customers behind them too, like, oh, for the love, please just do what you're doing.
Right. How are the
Just
kids?
pay for your groceries and keep going. Right.
Especially when they know each other and like, hey, how's your daughter doing? Oh, you want to see her? Like, you guys live down the street from each other. Talk there. Like, why are you talking here? Now,
Right.
what about small talk? Here we go. We've all had this, either a family reunion or Thanksgiving or whatever big family dinner where the extended family's there, and there's just situations going on in the family, and the conversations going from one place to another can get awkward, or there's small talk because there's that elephant in the room again that no one wants to talk about. Has anybody had any experiences like that?
Hmm. Now, I tend to be,
Uh oh.
no, I tend to, if I'm in a space where there can possibly be some uncomfortable moments, then I will gravitate to the comfort side of the space, to where people are that I can have. In other words, okay, I'm coming over here because I don't want to have the conversation over there.
See, and I'm the one that started the conversation that you were trying to get away from.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
well, that's my
Okay,
thing. What about if you have to have the so it's because it's easy to just move, but hey, if the like for instance, if my great grandmother when we'd have these big family things brought up a conversation, it was being had. There was no walking away
right.
and trying to go hide. Ludi Mae Lee, that tells you how old she was. They don't make names like that no more.
No,
Ludi Mae Lee started a conversation. We were having that conversation.
and you better sit there and pay attention. Yes. No, I'm okay with that. I will figure out. I don't have difficulty with that. I will figure out how to do something to bridge the gap to make it comfortable. And
Well,
then
Holden lives in the land of they don't deal with small talk where Holden lives. It's get to it. Holden, if no one,
No,
if
no,
anyone
no,
doesn't
no,
know,
no,
he lives in
no.
New York.
No, there's an art to small talk. There's an
Oh,
art to it.
okay, fill us in because listen, my first time going to New York, and I went to a pizza place, of course, and I'm like, I got a slice of pizza, and then I wanted another one, so I came up and I was like, "Hey, can I have another slice of pizza?" He goes, "You want another pepperoni pie?" I said, "Yes, thank you." And the pizza here is really good. Okay, I said, and okay, here you go. Like they're like, "Get out of the way and go pay. We don't need your thanks and respect."
Well, no, but that's the thing. Like, if it's a certain hour of the day when they know they're busy, yeah, they're not going to do small talk. But like you're saying, if it's like one on one with someone, it's dead time. Like they'll do small talk. Like most people will.
Really?
Like you're saying. But
I don't know.
nah, it, it depends on the place that you go to. Like most New York spots are not. Yes, we're about keeping it quick and keeping about our business and stuff, but like there is a point in the day where we cut the hour where it's like we're back to our personal self. We're gonna be
Well,
a person.
I meant it in a good way. Like when I talk to friends up there is no like beat around the bush, small
right.
talk, ease your way in. It's like let's get to it.
It's a different pace. It's a
Right.
much different pace up, like, because down south, because I'm in Massachusetts, down south, when
Oh
you say to
God.
somebody, "How's your day?" Like they'll really tell you about their day and how they're doing. Up here, when you say to somebody, "How's your day?" It's like, "Good, good, carry on," and
Yeah.
everybody moves on with their life.
So that's like so if you ask Lynn, how's your day? You're gonna get well and then, a whole bunch of
Well,
stuff.
it depends on where I am.
If I
Okay.
Holden, how's your day? He goes, it was good.
It's good,
Well,
right?
yeah, if I'm giving you a good and you can read the energy of my voice, like you can move on. But if I hear like good in like a crappy way, I'm not beating around the bush. I'm trying to move out of this conversation probably because he's probably pissed off or she's
Right.
probably pissed off. I'm not gonna go for it. So like I think I think you got to read the conversation always and the person. So like, and also the situation. Like when I was in back in a corporate setting in my office and stuff, like I read the situation more for when times I can do small talk, or I use small talk to diffuse someone who is very ticked off from a call, who probably will take it out on me, but I I'll probably use my small talk so they don't take it out on me, so they can take it out on the next person on the call or the next person they talk to.
So you're using it to you're using it as a positive force, right?
Yes.
You're using it to kind of de-escalate a situation, right?
Yes, exactly. Because I don't want to always hear, "Good God, Holden, why are you asking me this after a call?" Blah 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 blah. I'm like, no,
There was a
I'm
game that
sorry,
me
it's
and my
times like
friends used to
this.
play when we were drunk, and this was like the birth of small talk. Not the birth of small talk, but it used to birth small talk. We would play this game called text, call, or delete. So we would have the person do this on their phone, scroll back and forth really fast, and we'd say stop. And whoever's name they name landed on, they would either have to text that person, call that person, or delete the number. And it was funny the reactions you would get because it'd be like, oh my God, if I text this person, they're gonna text me a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't talked to them in 6 months. I'm just gonna delete the number. I delete the number. And then there were some like when people would land on like an ex from 4 years ago, they'd be like, they're married, I can't text, I can't call out, well, but I need the number. They have my no. It's so funny. And then the ones who would actually text just to watch them navigate through the hey, how you been? it was funny though. Plus we were drunk, inebriated. So
But now, one of the things though that's really annoying, and I guess since we're considering small talk being audio, text, or whatever, is to get text from somebody. I don't like having a conversation via text. Okay? Texts are for me are for short messages. Let me just give you a status. Let me give you an update. We're good. But once I've responded and you start texting back another question and I respond that, I will often get, that's when I start to get to my, what about, no, do you not understand? Or what about,
no means no.
what about, I will just pick up the phone and say, look, I can't go back and forth like this. Let's just get to where we got to go and be
One letter will fix that. K. Just K. That's all you have to reply. K. They won't text you again.
I never understood. Like, if you have to text me paragraphs, why aren't you calling me? I'm not read. First of all, everyone who works with me or knows me as a friend knows I'm not reading it. If you
That
send,
explains a lot.
yeah, I have friends all the time that ask another friend like, "Hey, Keone's ignoring me. Is he okay?" It's like, did you send him a really long text? Yes, he's not reading that.
He's not reading that. Don't have
Not
time right
reading it.
now.
No.
Don't
Right.
care.
And
Don't
so,
have
Lynn,
time.
the thing that you brought up reminds me of that's why I hate texting on holidays. I hate texting Merry Christmas or replying to them because what happens is someone you don't even talk to on Red, they'll say Merry Christmas. And then you just want to be nice and say Merry Christmas back. And then here we go. How have you been? I've been great. What's new with you? And it's like if 50 people text you happy birthday, especially happy birthday, and you just want to say thank you, happy birthday back, and then half of them want to start a conversation, and it's like, so I usually respond like a day later.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, now I will tell you that now the other small talk that irritates me. Now I don't know about
Uh-oh,
the
what gets in
guys.
Lynn's craw?
No, no, Elizabeth. Okay, I I consider myself a pretty real down person. Okay, you can approach me. You can say what you got to say, and I appreciate when guys want to give you compliments or they want to try to
Uh-oh.
ease into your zone,
Uh-oh.
and they want to have they want to start with all of this cute little conversation and you're like, huh? What?
Trying to, trying to
Okay,
ease into
thank you.
that zone.
I'm like, okay, thank you. And then they keep going, and you go, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. This is as far as this conversation is going, but they will come up with all kinds of comments. Now, I've been accused of being closed off to people. I'm like, bro, either you got it or you don't. And all of
Oh,
these cute little conversations.
Now, this is in person or in message?
No, this is in person.
In person.
No, and I don't want to come off as being
well, you know
arrogant
what,
or I think
Lynn?
of this or that.
That's not your fault. There's two things. People can't take a hint. And me and my friend, we always say this, read the room. People don't read the room. Like, either that person that you're talking about, or on the flip side of that, that person that doesn't know the conversation has ended. Like you're trying to walk away and they're still talking. Or my favorite one is
One foot in the car.
yeah, my favorite one is on the phone when you're on the phone, but a more important phone call comes and he says, "Hey, I got to take this call. I got to go." Okay, well, I'll call you back, or you can text me tomorrow, and we can talk. I'm like, why are you still? And then I have to hang up on the person,
Right,
and now I'm rude.
right. No, absolutely. And you and see, and Keone, you have me conscious of my facial expressions. And I know that there are sometimes it's like, Lynn, hold it, hold it. Okay, you don't want to give them that.
My
But
my favorite facial expression is when Holden has that. He doesn't even notice it, but when he has that look on his face where he wants to say "what the fuck," but he won't say it. But that's the look on his face. He's like,
That's this.
and he starts
Those are
moving
the
his
WTF lines right there.
he starts moving his lips like he wants to say something, and it's like,
My parents taught me well how to change it. You're allowed to show it, but once you don't say it, it's great. It's okay.
no, you gotta say it.
I thought you were allowed to say that in New York.
But like, there are some times when I'm like, what the hell is someone talking about? But it's just me being, I just don't know what the person's talking about, and then I got to figure it out as a person. But then there are times I'm like, what the front door is this person talking about? Like, honestly, like, but those, like, I'm not trying to, yeah, I don't want to always come off as that typical New Yorker rushing a person, being arrogant, brutal, straight to the point. I do want to be a nice New Yorker sometimes and show what we are.
He said, "I want to be
But
a nice New
a
Yorker
nice New
sometimes."
Yorker
yeah,
sometime, right?
sometimes, right?
Sometimes,
Sometimes.
sometimes.
Oh, the irony. But that is really uncomfortable. Like if somebody comes up to you and they try to pick up a conversation with you, like they know what you know what they're talking about, and you're kind of scratching your head like, I have no idea. This is out of left field. I'm not really sure where this came from or where you're going with it, but some context would be nice.
Yeah.
It's like when you tell like when you say tell someone you're from New York. Ah, New York, that's a pretty big city, huh? I remember when I first moved to this little small town in Georgia. And the guy was like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Miami." He's like, "Ah, yeah, it's a bit different here, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No, it's exactly the same."
Well, I have also, you all talked about pace,
Mhm.
have observed that some of the more direct, straightforward, you know, get in, get out, get it done occurs when you live in cold climates.
Sounds like my prom night.
When between all, from when I lived in the Midwest in Chicago, you talking about Boston, Elizabeth, New York, it's like part of your posture comes from, it continues through from the winter into the summer and then some. Look, it's too cold out here to be standing out here with
Hey,
a conversation.
yeah, or
It's
hot. You
done.
get a little short and hot tempered when it's like August in North Carolina, and somebody wants to have this long conversation outside. It's like, I'm trying to get to my car to get back to this
I'm trying to get the
AC.
air to the
I'm melting over here.
AC.
What about that person? Oh my God, every job has had this. If you've worked early in the morning, that one person who not only smokes a cigarette and drinks coffee and doesn't have that great breath, and they're really chipper in the morning, or even the ones that aren't chipper and they want to do that small talk when you get in the office in the morning. Woo!
There, you keep mints on your desk. That's a nice way to go about it, I guess, right?
What you do is I always take out a piece of gum and I'm like, hey, would you like some?
Right.
I always eat it first. Well, let's do this. I would
Noted. They
like
offer me gum.
to go. I would like to do going around and let's talk. Let's give some advice on how to help people uh, ice break and so they don't have to do that uncomfortable small talk. It can be in any scenario that would you like, and I'll go first. So one of the things is if you're talking in a situation, let's say like a professional setting, one thing that always helps is to be engaging with your body language and your facial expressions, right? I think enough people don't walk up to people and smile when they talk to someone they haven't met. So you got to have that approachable face. And you got to know, like I'm smiling now on purpose because people tend to listen more or want to be invited into whatever you're talking about if you're smiling rather than you just having the stone face and
Hmm.
looking at that. And then one of the things Lynn said earlier, just have that confidence, talk yourself into it and build that confidence up so you can get it out. If it's something that's that important to you, that should be the reason to talk about it, not because of any feelings of awkwardness.
Right.
What do you say, Elizabeth?
So I think for gentlemen, because it's kind of awkward, especially having purple hair, tattoos, muscles. Look, I know I have purple hair. I know I have big muscles. I know I have tattoos. Pick something that's not so obvious. Maybe try to come up and say something about yourself. And then to help yourself feel a little more comfortable when you're approaching somebody for the first time, people tend to get really inwardly focused and they're focusing a lot on themselves and how they feel like they're being perceived. So instead of putting the focus on yourself, put the focus on trying to make the person that you're approaching feel more comfortable. Try to project your focus more outward, and that can help to reduce some of the anxiety around creating a conversation with somebody you don't know.
That's a good one. And then don't feel like if you talk about yourself, you're going to sound conceited. We didn't say talk about yourself for 15 minutes.
Right.
Something that could be relatable about you and the person that you're trying to approach. But like I said, I know I have purple hair. I know I have
Hey,
tattoos.
yeah, like my sister wants to dye her hair. I'm totally against it, and she's never done it before. You know, it's just something different than hey, you've got purple hair. Oh, nice tattoos. You're tired of hearing that. All right, Lynn.
I think couple of things we've talked about. It's important to read the room clearly. Always important to read the room. But
Hmm.
I think also when you're reading the room and depending on the setting, because in this world, whether it's professional, entertainment, or whatever, we're all taught to network. But I think that networking can be more natural than unnatural. Part
Gotcha.
of it is just be yourself, feel say what you're feeling. Where I have difficulty is in situations where the small talk centers around what I can do for you or what you can do
Ah,
for me. You
yeah.
know, let's find some natural common ground that gives us a reason to further a conversation, or let's just be grateful for a great day and to meet somebody new. And I think that that's the way I approach small talk. If I can put a smile on your face with just something pleasant or whatever, then we're good. But when it turns into conversations that look
Hmm.
like, what can you do for me today?
Hmm.
Then now I'm done.
Right. Holden.
Um, I think Lynn hit on one of the points I was going to make for
Darn you,
this.
Lynn. Stop taking Holden's point. every
No,
show
no,
we
it's
have.
perfect. This is a great segue. When she said don't further a conversation,
Mhm.
when you get the answer that you want, or when you're saying the answer you want, you don't have to feel like what you were saying also, Keone, before. When you feel like those nervous sensations and stuff, or the anxiety to talk to someone, whether the situation it is, um, you don't have you don't have to act on it all the time to further conversation or to make sure that that person, because in your own mind it may be your own psych psychoanalysis on this and you're just feeling this way, but then at the end, like also Elizabeth said before, the other person may, you don't know all the time what the other person is judging you or reading you as, so if the person is, sometimes if you're reading the room the wrong way, sometimes you may, like I said before, overcommit for something or overextend the conversation when you
Yeah.
don't need to and stuff.
Awesome. I think that's great advice for everybody. I know this isn't our typical laugh fest that we had, but we thought this was a conversation that was suggested to us by a subscriber. So we tried to get some of the topics that our subscribers asked, and this was someone wanted to talk about it. So hey, we'll do that. We have that liberty. And thanks everybody who's been watching. We finally got to over 1,000 hours of watch content. We're at 1,120, so that is awesome.
Oh!
All right. Last month we had 403 subscribers, and this month we're at 570. So that's another good win, and that's a testament to everybody. And we love that you're sticking here with those topics via email. Suggest those topics via email and put them in the live chat or comments. And I know this was a short episode today, but we didn't want to miss you guys. Everybody, have a great Friday night. Be safe, and hoping to see a lot more of Elizabeth.
All
Yes,
right. Thanks,
absolutely. Thank you so
Elizabeth.
much.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Good night, guys. Have a great weekend.
All righty.
Have a great weekend!